finished high school at 15 years old, I met the Jimmy Lunsford Band, the entire Jimmy Lunsford Band. And the band was, well, noted in the early swing band days.
Okay, when you say the early swing band days, tell us what a swing band is.
The swing was a music that was formed by arrangements, and the instrumentation was basically a large, complete band.
And who would you say were the greats of the swing band era?
Well, Jimmy Lunsford, Count Basie, and Duke Ellington.
Okay. Now, what about the Dorsey brothers and Benny Goodman and people like that? You know, there's always this sort of conflict, you know, who really started jazz and how, you know, and so forth, you know.
Well,
you were there, in a way.
Benny Goodman was named the King of Swing. That was an illusion, because there were several bands that would outswing Benny Goodman, though he had the name of the King of Swing.
Okay. There was the swing era. Then after the swing era, you had
bebop.
Bebop. Okay, now the big bebop people were people like Dizzy Gillespie.
Yeah.
And who else was, you know, Monk was part of that. Who do you think were the biggest influences of that bebop?
Charlie Parker.
Oh yes, Charlie Parker for sure.
Dizzy Gillespie, Monk, Roy Haynes.
Okay, so you saw them at Mitten's Playhouse at the time when you were a young journalist.
Yeah.
And you had a chance to sort of be with them. Well, what was it like?
Mitten's Playhouse was the Harlem-owned bebop heart of Harlem.
Okay, it was the bebop heart of Harlem.
Yeah.
You have an article in this book called Autobiography of a People. And in here you talk about Mitten's Playhouse and the cosmic coming together of jazz at that time. And this book, jazz has been so much a part of African American history, and you have been there through it all. So, I mean, that's a wonderful thing to be able to say. I've been there through it all.
Yeah.
Now, would you say that jazz artists had it, well, people say that jazz artists had a very difficult life because they weren't really able to support themselves, a lot of them, on their music. But this was their passion, and this was something that they had to express. It was like any other art form. You have to get it out if you really have some genius. Would you say that it's like that today, that young jazz musicians have it as tough?
Well, not as tough, but young musicians, especially what is known as avant-garde, young musicians are modern. The majority of young musicians are modern, but less than avant-garde.
Okay, so you're saying that there's a modernism going on.
Yeah.
But there are not that many people coming out with something completely new.
No.
And completely
No.
taking jazz in another direction.
That's right.
For example, as bebop, for example, took jazz in a completely different
That's
direction from
right.
swing.
That's right.
Okay, okay, that's an interesting point to make. So where do we find ourselves now in jazz? I mean,
Well, there's a lot of young musicians that are that are playing that are playing modern music, modern jazz. However, that is less provocative than avant-garde.
I'm sorry, you said it's less provocative than avant-garde.
Yeah.
You mean it's good music,
Yeah.
but it's not necessarily avant-garde.
No, it isn't
Okay.
avant-garde.
All right. It isn't avant-garde.